Hello YouTube world, my name is Sam and I have lost over 100 pounds in the past few years. And I wanted to share my story today. It's hard to trace it back to where it first started. I guess I've always been the bigger kid. One of my first memories is being in the 3rd grade and having to step on the scale. And I remember that the number read 198. My weight was always a problem. I remember being a child and there was no sort of restrictions or limits to how much you could eat. It was just whatever was in the house. And portions and control sizes were never ever taught to me as a kid, and that's probably one of the biggest reasons for my weight gain. I have a photo from when I was in the 4th grade and I had won a math competition because I'm a huge nerd and I absolutely love math and academics, and I won in my class and we got featured in the newspaper, and I remember being over 200 pounds at that point. And during that time my mom and my stepdad were fighting and fighting and fighting, and it was really hard. It was, even like as a kid, I guess I've always turned to food as a coping mechanism, and I had to go to numerous doctors, and it was rough being I'm sure you guys know, I'm sure my overweight followers know that it starts very young, and if you've ever been overweight your entire life, it's hard, you know. I remember being in the 6th grade, and the boy that I liked at the time, we're gonna call him James because we're not gonna give real names out. He told me that he didn't date any girl that was bigger than him. That was his reasoning. And you can imagine, as a 6th grader, being absolutely crushed. Absolutely crushed. It was not a good time. So throughout my high school years, I steadily gained weight. No one ever mentioned to me that it was a problem. No one ever tried to step in and say, hey, this is probably something that you should work on. I mean, granted, I don't know how much good it would have done, but that never happened to me. Now, that's not to say that bullies and that I wasn't incredibly picked on when I was a kid and throughout high school, because I was. And it was bad, and I'm not trying to blame bullying on anything. I'm just trying to say that it's rough. It's rough when you're a kid and when you're a high schooler and you are the fat kid. You are the person that everyone hates to be paired up with. Everyone is consistently making fun of because of their weight. It's really hard as a kid. Kids are not nice. When I was a junior in high school, I met my first boyfriend, and during that time I remember being the lowest weight that I had recorded, and I journal a lot, so I remember writing in my journal, and I have them to look back on. I remember writing in my journal that I was 262.4 pounds, I believe, and that was the lowest that I had gotten in a while. And I remember being so proud, but I was also trapped in this food is the enemy thing, and where I would just eat and then binge and then restrict, and it was a terrible cycle. And that continued for a couple years until I was 20. And when I was 20, I decided to make a huge change in my life, and I decided to move out and I decided to get my own place and be single and figure out life as myself and only myself. And during that point, during that couple years when I was 20, I'm 23 now, by the way, just turned 23. During that time, I told myself that this is the time. You have to get control of this. You have to get it under control somehow. There have been numerous people have lost weight before. Why not me? Why not be this success story? Why not me? And I had to come face to face with who I was and my inadequacies as a person, and come to this point where I said, no, it does not matter. It does not matter what I need to do to get there, but I will get there. I was 21 when the weight started to really come off, at 20 to 21, and I had no idea what I was doing. When I tell you that weight has always been a problem, it has been a problem. Always. And I had no idea how to handle it. And no one, I mean, when you Google weight loss on the internet, it's like fad diet, and then you see like several articles contradicting what you had just read. And from an outsider's perspective, you know nothing about nutrition, you know nothing about weight loss. How do you sift through this array of just honestly bullcrap information, this information that is trying to sell you products, this information that is honestly false and just trying to get you to click on their website? It's so overwhelming when you first start, if you don't know what you're doing, coming from a personal space of weight loss and personal experience, because it's just everywhere. Everyone wants to lose weight quickly. Everyone wants to lose it as soon as possible and as easy as possible, and trying to make things work, but it just doesn't work that way. I kind of got off topic there. So what happened was, in the beginning, I bought my Fitbit. This is not the Fitbit that I had first started with, but I bought is it the Flex? The blue one? I don't know. It was like $90. And so I bought a Fitbit, and I told myself, you will not spend almost $100 on this to do nothing with it. You will use this, and this is going to be something big. This is going to be the start of something completely new in your life. And so I made it a goal. I told myself, move more. That's all you gotta do, is move more. And the, as Obese to Beast says, the common sense diet. So no soda, no fast food, and essentially just avoiding all of the processed foods and focusing on giving yourself vegetables and whole grains and adequate water. Water is incredibly important. Incredibly important. In the first year and a half maybe, that's what I did. I just did this common sense diet where I focused on moving more. I focused on cutting out all of the bad foods, and really focusing on tracking what I was eating. But not really, just trying to be more self-aware. And that's how I started. That's how I lost my first 50 pounds. Which, by the way, my highest that I ever recorded, which I'm sure I was much heavier, was 331.3. And I'm going to put a picture right here-ish of my heaviest. And that was my starting point. That was the highest point that I had ever seen on a scale. So I lost my first 50 pounds by just doing this common sense thing, and that brought me down back to like 270, which was higher than I was in high school, but it was still, it was such big progress, and I was so motivated, and I saw, wow, this is something that could actually be done, and maybe this could be me. Maybe I could do this. Maybe I could actually do that. And there was no one else in the picture. There was just me to rely on. And I'll tell you, it was one of the most freeing feelings for the longest time. Then I hit a plateau, and I hit that plateau hard. And I stayed in that plateau for a year and a half, until this past March 2018. During that year, I did not lose any weight, and I'm telling you, I could not understand why. I was working out 3 hours to 4 hours a day, and I was eating, protein bars and protein shakes and chicken and veggies and rice, and trying to figure out why was my weight not only not going down, but I was miserable. I was unhappy, and I was this person who was consistently hungry, even though I wasn't. I was trying to eat it more, and I was trying to balance this working out and eating healthy. I spent a year there, a year to a year and a half there, and I almost gave up. I told myself, I was like, maybe I am just meant to be a bigger person. And I think that a lot of overweight people have that. I think a lot of overweight people, they tell themselves, well, maybe this is just how it's meant to be. I mean, you can't generalize, and I'm not trying to, but maybe this was just the person I'm supposed to be. But it's not. If you are miserable right here in whatever situation that you're in, you have the power to change it. You can do this. I'm telling you that you can. So from March to now, I have lost 50 pounds. And it all started back in March when I found the calculator, the total daily expenditure calculator, and I figured out, what are calories? Why should you count them? What do you do with them? And I realized that your girl was just not eating enough. I just wasn't. And so you're not eating enough, combined with this binging. Because you're not eating enough, your body tells you that you are dying. You do not have enough calories to sustain. What are you doing? Your body is literally, you're starving yourself, was what I was doing. And then I had the realization that I needed to eat more. And after you lose that first 50 pounds, it's so hard. Actually, any amount of weight, after you lose that amount of weight, it's hard. It's hard to up your caloric intake because you're afraid of gaining that back. But that's exactly what I needed to do. And I did. And since March 7th, 2018, I started tracking my binges. I started tracking my calories. I bought a food scale, $10 food scale, saved my freaking life. I'll tell you what, oh my God. Ever since that point, it has been consistent weight loss. And it's just by putting myself in a caloric deficit. It's figuring out my maintenance calories and what I need to eat to maintain the body that I am now, to maintain the weight that I am now, and putting myself in a caloric deficit of, I try to aim for 300 to 500 calories. So that means roughly I am eating 2,000 to 2,300 calories. And I try to just stay within that range and get adequate amount of water. And I want to lose an additional 50 pounds. And that is part of the reason that I'm making this channel. Not only that, but I want to help you guys. I want to help that person that is stuck in that plateau I have been there. That is awful. There's nothing worse than you losing that amount of weight and you are discouraged because it's like, well, why? Why? What happened? I was doing so well. And then you spent this frustrating amount of time in this space where you just feel like, I don't understand and I want to help. And I want to show you guys that someone who is on their journey still. I am 50 pounds plus and 50 pounds away from my goal, and I am in that journey with you guys, and I want to show you that it can be done, and I want to help, and I want to learn from you guys, and I want to be a runner, and I don't know where I'm going. I'm kind of off in a tangent, whatever, but that's my story, and that's just where I'm at. And if you guys have any comments, any similar stories, I would actually, please tell me so I don't feel so bad about this here, but I don't. I don't know. That's just where I'm at. Please, if you like this video, please like it. If you want to see more like this, please subscribe. And if you have any comments or stories, please let me know. Please, I would love to hear that kind of thing. I think that everyone in the weight loss community is so inspiring. Even just taking that first step of saying, hey, I want to change my life. Wow. Holy crap. You're great. You're wonderful. Now let's take this journey together and step side by side and help each other and try to eliminate all the stigmas behind weight loss. Alright guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video, for watching this video. Let me know if there's any questions you have at all, leave them down in the comments, and I will try to make these videos every other Sunday. That's what I'm trying to do, because I'm a full-time student and full-time retail worker, manager, so you can imagine my life is pretty hectic right now. But yeah, please comment, please let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to try to be very, very active in the comment section and be very honest. That is my thing. Honesty is my thing. I will not ever be anyone but my true self, and that is what I live by. That's my motto. I hope you guys have a great day, and stay sweet and stay you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.